Hi, welcome to our Wednesday short snippet challenge video for our nutritional friends who are kind of joining us on this journey. Our challenge for you today is to add another little piece to what you've already been doing this week. So along with tracking protein and protein and produce for one meal, we are going to add carbs.
Exactly, yeah. And the reminder with this is that carbs fit into about a cupped hand, right? So again, not up to here, as if you would wipe them off. And before we get into that, Maggie had a great question for me as we were kind of setting these videos up. She said, are we really getting into the habit of tracking, or are we also tracking the amount that you're having? You know, I keep saying women aim for about 1 serving of everything, men aim for about 2, and the answer is it's actually both. The most important thing is getting into the habit of tracking.
Okay.
If you are having way more than what's kind of allotted, don't worry about that yet. Again, just get into the habit of tracking. If you can also say, okay, I'm gonna aim for just what I'm having, by all means, please do that. That's a big part of it. It'll give you a leg up. The main thing is track.
Okay.
Right? Don't get caught up on how much you're having yet. Although I'm going to keep reinforcing it's about a serving of what we're doing.
Great.
Okay. So today we're talking about carbohydrate, and I will give you a little heads up. Even in our house, we found tons of options, right? We just
right away.
It's so easy to have carbohydrate. And one thing that we've also discovered from practicing this is that it's so easy to have too much.
Yes.
Right? How much of carbs, when we talk about a cupped handful, and when you really start to plate it, you go, that's not much. And you realize that when most people self-serve, they serve themselves so much carbohydrate.
Oh, yeah. Unless you're really conscious of it and practiced it.
Right. And so I'll come right out and say, we don't practice going low carb. We're not keto. I know several people that do, and I've coached several clients through it, and it worked for them, right? For a lot of people, it works. This isn't that. It's just helping you gain awareness over how easy it is to kind of overdo it on your carbs.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's kind of dive right in. One of the ones that we love having in our house is rice. It cooks up really easy. It's super cheap, right? You can get a lot.
You can eat leftovers of it for a week.
It keeps for a long time, right?
Yep.
Okay. So again, this is brown rice, and you can see that in a little bowl, right? If I were to pour this into my hand, this is it. Okay. If left to my own devices, I will easily serve myself 4 times this amount in a meal, right? I mean, this just looks like nothing. But again, this is 1 serving size for men or women, right? If I was, again, sitting on a meal, I might have 2 of these, okay? Another thing we love having in our house is beans. This is some black beans. And again, you're looking at this and going, that's just not a lot. And that should kind of give you that aha moment, I might have been overdoing it on my carbs a little bit, right? That's one. Now, another one that we typically will have would be corn chips. We love our corn chips here. And again, judgment free. Again, look at the quality of it eventually. But right now, when you're looking at chips, who eats this? I eat half of a bag, right? Again, if left to my own devices, especially if I've got salsa and guac there.
So again, or at a restaurant where they're just kind of dishing them to you over and over again.
So again, this should give you kind of that, holy cow, right? That's just not much. And again, if you're in doubt, look at the back of a bag. If I'm remembering right, most things will say 13 to 17 chips. And if I had to look at this, this is probably pretty close to that. But again, it's just shooting for something close, okay? Now, personally, I don't care for these much, but my kids do. And I have heard from so many people, crackers, especially coupled with cheese. So many people love their crackers. And again, there looks to be 7, 8, 9, 9-ish, 10, and that's maybe a serving size. I think if I'm looking on the back, it says 7 to 10.
More for me, I mean, it's probably too much for me.
Right. And think of when you have crackers, how often do you have just this amount, right? It's so easy to go over. So again, just get in the habit of tracking how many you have. If you can get it down or to your appropriate limit, go ahead and do so. Okay. Then there's one. We love our bread. Now Maggie makes our bread here. I think it's delicious. But whether you buy it or you bake it yourself, it's a carbohydrate, right? It's going to be something. So if we're looking at it, this is a couple of slices. If I were to hold a piece of bread, right, and try to get it to fit in a cupped hand, you can see it's not going to do that. If I were to, and this is going to seem like Maggie's going to hate this, but I'm actually going to ball it up for a second, right? Okay. If I were to kind of ball it up, we see there's a lot of empty space in a piece of bread.
Okay, you're getting crumbs all over.
I knew she'd complain. Okay. one piece of bread is probably about a cupped handful. I know it's stacking up a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. Okay? Yeah. So again, a slice of bread, about a carb serving for you.
Yep.
If you're looking at the back of the thing and a slice of bread says it's only 10 grams of carbohydrate, go ahead and have 2. Again, that's where that comes into play.
Yeah.
But again, just judging from the eyeball scene, a slice is about a serving of carbohydrate for everybody. Okay, my favorite dessert, right? Chocolate chip cookies. Now, remember, with almost all of these, they are pretty much strictly just carbohydrate.
Right.
The beans maybe have some protein and fat in them. Cookies are one of those things that have probably a mix. It's largely carbohydrate and fat,
right.
Especially with the chocolate chips. That's probably the dominant macronutrient there, okay? I am one of the guys that will be like, just pick one and just stick with it. So
it's easier that way, yeah.
Right, with the dessert like this, I'm going to look at that and just be like, well, I'm just going to call it a carb, right? I'm just going to say that's what it is, even if it's not, because it's simpler that way.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can do. So again, if I'm looking at a cookie and I put one in a cupped hand, that's pretty darn close. I could probably fit 2 and call it there. And I would actually venture a guess and say 2 cookies is probably about 120 calories. I haven't looked it up, but I'm going to guess that's probably about right.
I'm sure.
Just from a lot of the stuff that I've looked at.
You know, I mean, I have smaller hands, but like I usually count 1 as 1.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, it just helps me with my portions more.
Right.
Then I can maybe fudge a little bit and have like a Kit Kat, little baby Kit Kat here and there that our kids also love.
Right. And remember, again, it's not about being perfect. It's just about being consistent. So if I track 2 cookies as 1 serving and Maggie tracks 1, we're both right? As long as we're doing it consistently.
As long as I always count 1 as 1 and Aaron is always counting 2 as 2 for himself, because we're not tracking for each other. I'm only tracking for me. Checking for him.
So again, you have a lot of options of carbs there. We know there's other ones. Again, do your best guess. And when in doubt, again, try to minimize it. If it feels more carbohydrate-y to you, if you feel like it's more grains, like we didn't touch on oatmeal or anything like that, but if it feels carby, or use Google here, right, and kind of look at it, then just say that it is. And it's okay if it's not. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, so today, at least 1 meal. Track your protein, track your produce, and track your carbs. Have fun and good luck.